Thank you for having me, Tim, and hello, everyone. First time on Share Cafe, so in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll walk you through the Elsight story and what it's about. Just in a very high level, Elsight is a communication company, high-tech communication company working with both hardware and software. coming from the military background and started to deploy our technology into more of a civilian application. That's what I'm going to show you today in the next few slides. Next slide, please. Next one. So the area of our focus is the unmanned industry, both drones and ground vehicle. For any purpose, we'll talk about it. What is the purpose of the vehicle? How it's going to change the world we are living in? And it's literally what's happening as we speak, not something, I'm not talking about something futuristic. And I give you some concrete example of how exactly it works in today's world, but starting with Goldman Sachs quote saying that the drone and unmanned industry, just like the GPS and the internet world, started in the military and start to migrate into more of a civilian and commercial application. That's exactly what's currently happening with the drone market, starting to see more and more commercial use cases and applications that are starting to be deployed and to actually accelerate or change the whole way we are doing our deliveries, inspections, security, and other use cases that I'll mention in the next few minutes in the presentation. In the next slide, you'll see what are the highlights of Elsight. Next slide, please. So highlights of Elsight is, first of all, we have a proprietary technology. Everything is developed in-house, both the hardware and the software. And we have very flexible engineering team that are very domain expert in the domain we are working on in the drone industry. Looking on the market, on the drone market in general, so that's one of the upsides of Elsight that we're talking about, a nascent market, and having or being a standard in such an industry that is rapidly growing. That's a huge upside because we are growing with the industry, and once we have the definition that we are the standard, we are where all the companies are looking at when we're looking to do reliable missions by reliable communication. That's what we provide. That's exactly what they're looking for, and that's how we are growing with the industry and how we move along. On the product validation side, so we developed the technology over the year, and today, after working with the biggest project in this industry, like Walmart delivery, that I will touch base later in the presentation, or other kind of clients that are already using the systems and our infrastructure as we speak, like I said, that's give us a very strong validation of our value to the market, our product market fit, and how big is the value that we are driving for this industry. Looking on growth engines for the future, so once we dominate the market, we can do both, or we are doing both, expanding our product portfolio with existing customers, as well as going to other use cases by going from drone in the sky to ground vehicle on the ground, or to maritime vehicle on the ocean and other places. And it's kind of an endless market in terms of growth opportunity that we can have there. On the next slide, what you'll see is the different use cases that are currently used with drones. And inside of them, like I said, everything started from the defense side and start to migrate more towards the right side of the slide. So starting in the defense, enterprise, consumer, obviously public safety, logistics, and sometime in the future, even what's called advanced air mobility or air taxis, all the passengers vehicle that will move us from one place to another. And the good thing is that the Halo, which is the name of our product, will fit to all of them. A little bit like the Intel Inside concept, or Elsight is the brain inside all those systems, enabling them to do all their tasks, what's called beyond visual line of sight, BVLOS in the industry. And that's when you're seeing about the future of this industry. This is how it will go with beyond visual line of sight application, and how it will look like, and how big is the scale that can happen there. Talking a little bit about, in the next slide, talking a little bit about the market size and how the market is looking like. So we split it here based on market analysis about how the market is going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years from now. And you'll see that there is a very interesting conversion from the defense going toward more of the commercial application and even consumer use cases. that is happening there, and that's represent a huge market. Obviously, with all the Ukraine-Russia situation, unfortunate Ukraine-Russia situation, you hear about drones all over the place, which literally are in the forefront of this whole conflict. But you start to see, or we are seeing as we speak, as being part of the industry, we're seeing how it's moved more towards the commercial application and how big is the market there as well. And we are playing on both sides of the market, which makes it very interesting for us. Next slide, we'll talk a little bit about the addressable market and the service addressable market. So you'll see that according to, again, to average market analysis or different market analysis, only the drone industry is talking about $37 billion market with, and if we're talking about specific service addressable market of Elsight, which is the core component, the communication components of those systems, you will see that that's an average of 2% of the market, which it's $740 million. And that's only in the drone industry. Before we started talking about different kind of autonomous mobile robots, ground robotics, different kind of autonomous systems and platforms that you'll see on the bottom side of the screen, which the numbers there are even much higher than that. But currently we are very focused on, again, dominating the aerial market and doing it. I'll show you in a second how it will look like. But before that, I want to talk a little bit about our strategy, like you see on the next slide, which is what we call the design win strategy. So basically, once the sales cycle is look like we are doing proof of concept for the technology with any new customer, any new partner of ours, and then once they started to integrate it into their system, doing all the engineering efforts of integrating all the compliances with the FAA or other kind of aviation authorities worldwide, that makes it into kind of a Catholic marriage that cannot be break, because we are so deep into their business and operation that every design win of ours makes it very, very interesting. And that's the growth strategy of ours, of how to grow with the industry. So every design win represent another channel for us for growth engine, and show you how we move there because of the critical of the components and how critical it is. Looking on a little bit of how our customer map looked like, in the next slide, you'll see how it's looked like back in May 2021, which was just around Europe and just a little customers, just call it the first design partners that we work with to work on the technology, how it will work in this industry and how it will move. And 14 months later, if you'll move to the next slide, you will see how the map is look like today with companies all over the world in all different use cases that I mentioned. Some of them are known, some of them are still unknown companies, but all of them integrate the Halo into their operations. And today we're doing thousands of flight hours per month that we work with, like I said, in different markets, from the defense side all the way to the logistics and advanced air mobility, which is more for research and development purposes. But in today's presentation, I would like to focus on the logistics side of it, which is the drone delivery, and show you just one example of two of the companies that you see here on the logos behind, and just to tell you the story about it. In the next slide, you'll see the two of them, which is one is DroneUp and the other one is Speedbird. DroneUp is a US-based company doing drone services, and basically is the service provider for Walmart for all their drone delivery initiatives. Now, you think about it as something that is very futuristic, but if you look on the next slide, we put some title here from Walmart corporate website showing that Walmart is intending to do to service 4 million households during 2022. We're talking about with drone deliveries. So we're not talking about something futuristic. I'm talking about something that is already deployed literally today. If you live in some places in Arkansas and in other states, you can log into the Walmart application, mobile application, order your groceries and get it within 20 minutes in a $4 per delivery, which makes it a completely different story. Talking a little bit about our revenue model and how that looked like. So we have, most of it is the recurrent part. So we have the Halo, which is the hardware product, one of sales, And on top of it, we have the cloud services, which is our infrastructure. And on the other side, we have the data usage. Both of them are recurrent income. And as we deploy more and more systems, obviously the recurrent part will become the major part of our income, and the gross margins there are in the high-tech world or in the software world gross margin level. So we're talking about 70–80% gross margin in this market as we sell more and more systems and getting this part of our revenue increase. Just to show a little bit about how the future is looking like, in the next slide, you'll see how our market looks like. And basically, this slide is showing the different kind of customer of ours and the potential they represent, like Walmart on one side with a huge potential, obviously, in the next few years to deploy all their North American stores. They have 4,700 stores only in North America, 11,000 worldwide. And we are helping them through DroneUp to expand their e-commerce experience by providing much better deliveries, much shorter in time, and much cost sensitive, which makes it very interesting. And you'll see that each one of those represent how the industry is going to look like and how we are going to move forward from here. From here, I think we can jump into the Q&A slide, which is not the next one, but the one after it. And we'll be very happy to answer any question if you have some.
Thanks, Yoav. Fascinating industry. It really is something that's, no pun intended, taken off. But do you focus on logistics because that's the biggest part of the market? Is that where you start compared to all these other verticals?
That's where we see, as a technology enabler, we need to look for the markets that are expanding or accelerating as fast as possible. So basically, looking on the market, we see that this is the market where we'll have the biggest impact in terms of quantity that we will sell. And obviously, we want to sell as much as possible just to get out to the market with this new technology. In general, we're speaking about the drone market, and this is where we see the biggest numbers. But like I said, this is one of the use cases. I can give other example for military application or defense application, homeland security, public safety. But that's definitely where we see the numbers are accelerating much faster in the next few years.
And if we focus just on that logistics area, how do you what's the sales process? How do you talk to the likes of Amazon and the like? How does that all play out?
So today, I'm glad to say that today's knowing the industry very well, Elsight is one of the strongest brands in the industry in terms of, again, enabling technologies. So most of them are coming to us and not what we are going to them. And then the sales cycle looking like I said, we're having the proof of concept, and we are showing the value of the product. We're seeing what is the upside of the product, how they can work with it, how they can integrate it into their day-to-day operation. That cycle usually takes something like a few weeks. Then they started to integrate it on the engineering and certification level. And from there, basically every unit they ship out will include the Elsight Hello integrated inside. And that's the design win concept of every system that they will sell or they will deploy will be built on Elsight system. And this is our growth engine, again, moving forward, like I said before. So that's how the sales cycle look like. Obviously, we have both big customers as well as small customers that just started, but we're seeing a bright future with them. We're trying to qualify our customers very detailed. So we make sure that we're betting on the right partners to run with and to expand our business.
And just finally, where's all the technology produced? Is it in Israel?
Yeah, so we are based out of Israel. All the technology, like I said, all of us coming from military background, both from operational side and the technology side of the military. So this is how we started to develop it. Everything being developed with our team here in Israel, and everything is manufactured here in Israel and from here distributed, like you see, worldwide.
Fascinating story. Thanks for your time. We've run out of time, unfortunately. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.